So welcome to Hev, who's using Out of the Box in her work in school. Thank you so much, Hev, for spending some time with us, just chatting through what's happening. Do you want to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, so Hev, and I was just reflecting that it's about 1 year ago that I was first introduced to Out of the Box. I went on the pilot. So my context is in schools that I've got two schools. I don't mean I own two schools, no. I don't own them. So work-wise, I work in a special educational needs setting for teenagers, and voluntary-wise, I'm a governor at a Church of England primary school, but I also get to volunteer in there as well, so that's great. So yeah, that's the two spaces I am found in during the week at different times. So it was actually a year ago, because of the pandemic, I couldn't visit the governor's school, but the lovely thing is at that school, you can become friends with a class. So I was friends with reception. So really the first time I saw them was this time last year. And I went in, got alongside the kids, helped them with an activity. And then the next thing, the teacher said, "Oh, I noticed you got on really well with some of the lads that needed a bit more help." And she was saying, "Is there anything you could do if you want to take them, do something with them?" And I thought, I know what I'll do, Out of the Box. And so I had chance to use it quite soon, really, after doing the pilot, which was brilliant. So I just took a few little reception people and did a few sessions. Sometimes we're outside. Once we had a soggy bottom because we got rained on. Comedy, working things around the school where to use it. I think also once a brass lesson started happening just as I was using it, but it was all good, and it was just lovely to see them just increase, even in those few weeks, increase their confidence and just sort of grow as a little group. And the lovely thing about it is the familiar. So the fact that we turn the box upside down, and they knew some of what was coming, and now is a time to breathe. I think one thing I've started doing is imagining you've got a feather in your hand and blowing it when I start breathing with them. So that was a year ago, almost, in the summer. And I think, the kids, they just love getting everything out of the box afterwards. When you've done a story, it's like, oh yeah, we know you've got some stars in there, and they love to get it out. But when I've done the wondering and asked them how they felt, I think one of the key things is people say, "It's made me feel calm." And actually I asked a group of kids, I said, "Oh, I'm going to speak to Catherine who this week." And I said, "How does Out of the Box make you feel?" And he said, "Calm." So I think that's just a lovely thing, because schools, I'm into great schools, but there's lots of demands. It can be very busy, and I think just a space to breathe is just really important. Yeah. So I was going to maybe have a look at when I went into year one this Christmas.
Shall I share the screen so that you sent some photos?
Let's go for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant. So this is, Out of the Box. You can see my foot there. So these little reception children are now in year one. So a lot of them have had a bit of an experience of Out of the Box, but the lovely thing at Christmas time was I got to share the Christmas story in quite a few classes. And this is an example of just how they just love all the loose parts and just get everything together. And you may see there's also some figures from my godly play. So it was just nice how they used those and just mingled it all in. Over on another part, I think you might want to move on. I think the things were on the cloth as well. So like you say, this kind of spread out throughout quite a bit of the classroom in their wonderings. And they were given pieces of paper just to say, if you want to draw anything, there was no you have to draw this, but a lot of them, you might notice, they just picked up on the love, how said that everything was created by love. So they really picked up on that. And there was lots of pictures of love, or Mary and Joseph, and lots of love above the stable. So I just thought that was really lovely, and the connections they made with that, and it was just nice to see their pictures. So yeah, that was year one at Christmas. And so what's happened? Lots of things have happened, and I've kind of done it in both schools. But one thing that's happened recently, at Easter time, I was asked, because the assistant head at my lovely church school had seen a bit of Out of the Box, she was like, oh, I'd love the rest of the school to have this. I was like, well, I don't mind. I'll, if you want, just book me in. I'll do some RE lessons. Yeah, go with the flow. So the lovely thing was, she booked me in for Easter. So basically every class got a Hev slot, time with Hev. And because it was nice weather this particular day, I thought, do you know what? Let's not do this inside. Let's go in the garden, because it was a partnership project with the church that last October they created a spirituality garden, because they needed, space to process and just be and wonder and imagine. So, the assistant head was really keen that we developed that area and included people. So it was just lovely to do some, outdoor, and I was able outdoor learning right in the garden outside on a lovely day. Not that I'm adverse to really hard weather conditions, but it might have been a bit tricky if it was really chucking it down with rain at that point. So I was blessed that those 2 Monday afternoons that I did it were a lovely weather, and just a nice space to be.
Shall I share the photo of yours?
Go for it.
Yeah, okay. So, oh,
there we are. That's
sorry, I'm just
Christmas. It's okay.
Yeah, I'll just go on to, oops. And yeah,
there we go. We've even, so you can probably see there's a seating area with a pond there and a boat with plants in. In fact, part of the session I actually hid some figures in the boat. It's about the Easter story in the boat. That was like you say, just things happen things happen in the moment, I think, with Out of the Box, that you just do and go, oh, let's give that a go.
Great. So
that's lovely. So during, not that obviously there's no children on this photo, but I think there's probably this what was I going to say? No children on this photo, but they were about to come out and sit around on those seats, and I was able to share a story, an Out of the Box story, which is Lent. I can't quite remember what it's called, but I know it was about Jesus going.
Am I Loved? Was it Am I Loved?
Am I Loved? That was it. So again, that was love, and that Jesus went into the desert. They wanted me to talk about Lent a bit, so I thought that was a great story. But I also, within that session, used some of my godly play stuff. There's a cross. I know it's called the Mystery of Easter, but there was a puzzle that makes a cross, and it talks about Lent. So I kind of did them both side by side, and then just let them have a little bit of. Some of them said, it's time just to have a wander in the garden or play in the sand. Wow, the year ones got very excited about sand. They were basically in the sand, which was hilarious. But it's memorable, and it was just lovely to be able to use the garden, which they wanted to develop, to create that space. That was Easter.
So as somebody who's also knows godly play, you're sort of using the two, as you say, side by side, and whatever's working for the children and whatever's needed for that.
Yeah, I think there is whatever. That's the nice about the flexibility, that you can do certain things. Like I say, I tend to, it depends on the group. You just see on your group, but I might do that. Let's go In fact, I do remember like blowing feathers across, imagine you're blowing feathers across to a person opposite, and that sort of thing. So yeah, it depends, and it might think actually it's not appropriate at this time to have 30 kids in the sand. So, but sometimes yeah, it's nice to just go with what, yeah, where the young people are at. I mean, this week I went in and I just thought, what do the group need today? Yeah, so I was able to just share a different story, and I thought, yeah, they just need to chill. Let's have a good story.
Great, lovely. Following the needs of the children. That's great. Do you want me to share the last slide, which is that?
Okay, so now, yeah, we're going to my special school setting where I'm a teaching assistant. So again, about the same time last year as I was able to use it in the primary school, I actually did some of the same stories that I was learning. Stick That Got Stuck, that's one of the favourites really. I was able to do that in my setting, sort of more like lunchtime club stuff really, and that developed this year into a bit of a lunchtime club when it happens, whenever the lunches arrive, because that can be a bit random, so you've got to go with the flow. So this was actually last week. We had quite a hot day, they'd been outside quite a bit, people were tired and hot, so we started off with a fellow member of staff and just said, let's just get a drink, let's just relax and get a drink. And actually we just got the sand out and, you know, hands went in, but I thought it was lovely for our young people just to be together, just to share that space. And again, I'm just signing the sign for calm, as I do, just to calm down and share the experience and just be. And there was a lot of, you know, it didn't look this messy beforehand, but that doesn't matter because, you know, life is messy, isn't it? So they'd played a lot with this story, and yeah, then it was just more like hands back in the sand because it's just so relaxing. And at the same time, actually, two other people, I'd put the cloth out on another table for them to play afterwards. So two young people were actually using figures to talk to each other, which is a massive thing for our young people to actually, you know, communicate. In fact, I was just talking to one of my teachers yesterday, and even though he's not really been in the sessions, he's sort of like spotted the end of them as he's gathering up, and he said he's really noticed how engaged the children are, the young people, and that using their imaginations, which is very important for our young people. And I've loved to see just that play that happens after in the sand. I mean, they're just, you know, start to get the sand out, and that's so exciting. You know, we've had a day out on the beach, we've been on the school minibus afterwards, we've been on a trip to the beach, you know, I've done a story and then they've just played, and so that's been absolutely lovely. And I was reminded, which you know, I think is quite funny in our school, that there was one particular lunchtime, there was a young lady, she was in the entrance in a massive box. We'd had a big screen delivered, so we'd still got the box, so it's pretty enormous. And this young lady was in the box, and I was trying to start the sort of after lunch club, and some kids were outside, and we needed, you know, her either to be in one place or the other really for supervision. So I was like, why don't you let's bring it in the classroom. So she came in the classroom. She doesn't join in that much, and she basically sat in the box watching me tell a story. So in the box, out of the box, whilst you're in a box, so anything goes. And even the fact that she actually contributed, I think her favourite colour was red, and I do remember that day she actually got out of the box and just picked up a little red piece of felt and placed it on the cloth. And I think for her that was really special.
Oh, that's amazing to see how you're using it in that school where the children have got special needs, and that you're just going with the flow and allowing them to be, and to be well and to enjoy things. Yeah,
it's just been so encouraging to see. Like, Hev, are we having started calling it Story Club, and are we having Story Club today?
Yeah.
I mean, we do a little thing now, which again, I thought of it one day. We actually sign in with a thumbprint. So I have a little ink pad and we just put like Story Club Out of the Box, and they all choose a colour and stamp in as a bit of a.
What a great idea. Oh, that's another. I love the fact that the people who are doing Out of the Box, the members, that by doing it are just creating all these new wonderful ideas and then feeding into the movement, and so that we can share these ideas. And it's not that one idea works for everybody, it's that we're all needing to work out what works for the people we're serving. So that's great. But I can see other people taking that ink idea, especially with the different colours of the ink.
And some want to just do loads, and that's
great. That just really sets the scene, sets the tone for the fact that we're all individuals, that we have choice, that we can do things the way we want to do. It's just lovely. Excellent. Love it.
I love it.
Oh. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we
No, I'm just really thankful, and I just say personally, it's done me a lot of good as well, just being part of the Out of the Box. It just really helps reflect and just to just be. So I love it. On a it's not a separate note, because you don't separate your life, do you? But I have a little granddaughter who's 6, and she loves playing. She's watched you on video, Catherine. She loves stories, and then it's lovely, she plays with it, and a granny, can I play with it? And it's great to see her, processing that, or what she's learned. And so that's really funny, because she loves to be a storyteller. And
oh yeah, we've had people saying, well, the 6-year-olds in my class are now going home and creating stories and telling stories to each other. It's all about co-creation.
Yeah,
all about play. Joining in.
Yeah, I ask her for advice, because I'm now friends with a class that are the same age as her. So I often ask her for top tips.
Great. Great.
Before I do.
Great. I mean, it's a movement to which everybody belongs, who's interested in story and play, really, and creating that space where we can create together, and the relationships are key, aren't they? The relationships you have with your grandchild and with the children in your school. It's all about that. It's all about love.
And I think like you say, and then that you just see them in the playground and play. I can't help play.
Oh, it's so lovely to talk with you and to hear your experiences. It's inspiring. Thank you so much, Hev.
Okay, I'll keep going, and like I say, I always put my bag in the car.
That's great. You can transport it anywhere, can't you? Just at the box there, and you never know when it's going to be used.
It's like, I've got it in the car. Like, I think it was actually last week. We had staffing issues, so we had to do a total reshuffle, and said about doing groups stuff. Well, I've got my box in the car. So yeah.
Anything goes, anything comes out of the box. And, lovely. Oh, and just a final thing, we didn't colour coordinate, Hev. We just happened to turn up, didn't we, in orange? Brilliant. Thank you so much, Hev. Is there anything else that needs to be said before we start?
At the moment, I'm sure there's plenty, but
well, you've said loads. Thank you. I'm sure we'll have another interview later on at another time to hear more about your experiences. Thank you, Hev. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Great stuff. See ya.